Today, Twitter indefinitely suspended Donald Trump from ever tweeting, saying anything again. We also had Parler come under fire from Apple and the Google Play Store, saying that they need to start heavily moderating or they will get kicked out. A lot of things are happening in the social media space, and it kind of has me worried, and here's why. This is Tone's Take with your host, Tony Davis. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching. And yeah, at face value, this sounds great. Donald Trump has been banned from Twitter indefinitely. He's been banned from Facebook. Parler looks like it's going to go down. If you look at Twitter right now, it's just a melee. People are sending out their Parler handles or whatever. You've also got a lot of jokes going on saying that Trump's now trying to join Friendster and MySpace, and I was just talking to my wife the other day about MySpace and how fun that all was and how it just somehow fell apart. But yeah, I'm kind of worried about this whole thing with a lot of these private companies that are now, taking away free speech, I would say, from a lot of people. And in a way, it's a good thing because these people are doing things like inciting mobs. They're working together to try and cause chaos in the streets and things like that. It's a scary time, but it's also a worrying time because I'm looking at this as is this how democracy dies? To thunderous applause? If you get my Star Wars Attack of the Clones reference there. The reason why I say that is because, at the same time, these companies like Facebook and like Twitter and like Reddit, which also banned r/Donald Trump, the subreddit r/Donald Trump, for those of you that don't know, there are a lot of people on there that might not be seen as radicals that are also looking for a place to speak and talk and share ideas, and that's what these companies are supposed to be providing. Yes, there are areas where you will have people that want to do crazy things on the right, just like there are on the left. To me, this even sounds worse when you think about the timing and when it's happening. Yes, we just had near insurrection and near complete rebellion happen this week at the steps of the Capitol and inside of the Capitol, where a lot of these people that they say were on Parler and planning these attacks, actually, it happened on Parler and then they went and they actually did it. So yes, I get it. I get that Donald Trump is off of his hinges, but it also tells me that social media in general has gotten way too powerful to the point that a lot of people, at least 70 million Americans, maybe not all of them that voted for Donald Trump, rely on it to communicate with each other. That's a good chunk of people that are relying on someone's private enterprise to communicate. And it makes me wonder, is that a safe way to help people to communicate and connect with each other throughout the country, throughout the world? Or should there be some sort of a public entity that protects, our First Amendment freedoms? Again, here, let me read it. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's the public government's responsibility to not infringe on that. Private companies can do whatever they want. Unfortunately, some of these private companies have become so powerful, but that they've taken over as the public speaker, so to speak, the public square. And that's where it kind of gets unsafe. People should be allowed to say what they want to say. I remember when I went to Penn State and walked into class, and there was always a preacher standing on one of those steps preaching, and he was allowed to say whatever he wanted to say, even though it was on school property. That school was a public school, so technically I think he was allowed to do that. It was a public square, and he could say whatever he wanted to say, and people could react however they wanted to react. It was all public, and I believe that's how it's been in the past. In public spaces, people could say whatever they wanted to say, and the government cannot stop them. But now you have a lot of these private enterprises that are owned by people that have their own terms of service that don't allow people to say what they want to say. And to me, that's scary because we rely on them so often. There's not a day that goes by where you don't see millions of people flocking onto Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or now Parler. I don't know how many people are on Parler or so many other areas, so many other websites. And 10 years, 20 years ago, those didn't exist. They were in chat rooms that weren't as moderated, but you still had people joining them. So that's my one fear. My next fear is that these people are going to still find their enclaves to do and find the worst ways to get together and figure out and plan and plot. And the worst part is they're now feeling disenfranchised. And the worst part is it'll be hard to track them. At least now we could kind of see what they were doing. At least we kind of knew what Donald Trump was thinking because we could see his tweets on a daily basis, on a minutely basis on Twitter. At least we could go on to Parler and see what was happening. And even though they weren't moderated, this allowed people to say the worst things that they wanted to do. And it helped the FBI and the CIA and the NSA and Homeland and all those people to actually know where to keep tabs on them. If these venues go away, it's going to make it a lot harder, in my mind, for us to track a lot of these people, for us to even know who are the good guys, who are the bad guys, who's plotting something. So in my mind, there are a lot of reasons why this whole thing, banning Donald Trump, Reddit taking away our Donald Trump, the subreddit, Apple and the Google Play Store telling, Parler to moderate heavier. I get it. But I think it's not good. And my final thing is it's too late. To me, this just seems like it's just it's just for show. They did it at the end of Trump's presidency. We've seen the same thing with a lot of these, some of these Republicans, some of the people in Trump's cabinet that are now jumping ship. They're all trying to save face at the last minute. And this is just terrible. This just shows just how willy-nilly a lot of these private companies are, that they're only going to do what they think is right for their dollars. And they know that, a lot of people are very conscious, are easily offended by things that are said, and that those people have now the voice, the majority voice in the House, in the Senate, and in the White House. And so that to them says, okay, we need to start scrubbing these areas. We need to make it, so that they feel safe. And that to me is not the way our democracy is, not the way private companies even should behave. But private companies are free to do what they want to do. That's why they're private companies. So I'm not even going to go into that. I let them do what they do. I just think that it's a scary place that we're going down because of the power that a lot of these private companies have within the public sphere. So I would love to know what your thoughts are. Do you think it was right for the banning to happen? Don't get me wrong. I'm so glad that they shut Donald Trump up on Twitter. But at the same time, I also worry that his message and his rhetoric are just going to go somewhere else. They're going to be hidden, and it's just going to start to fester and boil, and something even worse might happen. And we won't know about it, and no one will be able to target it because we won't know where to look. So let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.